Our community lost a giant, and I lost a dear friend, Gene Hackman.
Something about Gene Hackman's home just doesn't add up. New details have emerged, and what investigators found has completely changed the narrative. Aerial footage captured something deeply unsettling, raising serious questions about what really happened in his final days. There are still unanswered questions about the death of two-time Oscar winner Gene Hackman and his wife. The couple was found dead this week in their New Mexico home. On Friday, investigators ruled out carbon monoxide poisoning and revealed other clues that may lead them to determine what had happened. The property, once a peaceful retreat, is now at the center of growing speculation. Was this an overlooked clue, a hidden secret, or something far more disturbing? As authorities piece together the truth, one thing is certain: this changes everything. The tragic discovery on February 26, 2025, authorities in Santa Fe, New Mexico, made a grim discovery inside the home of legendary actor Gene Hackman. The 95-year-old, along with his wife Betsy Arakawa and one of their dogs, were found dead in their secluded estate. The news sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond, as Hackman, an Oscar-winning actor and beloved public figure, had largely retreated from the limelight in his later years. What made the situation even more unsettling was the timeline. Officials believe Hackman and his wife had been deceased for several days before being discovered. The couple had not been in frequent contact with friends or family, which delayed the welfare check that ultimately led authorities to the home. There were no immediate signs of foul play or forced entry, deepening the mystery surrounding their deaths. Reports from the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office confirmed that first responders arrived at the property after a concerned neighbor contacted law enforcement. The house, a sprawling adobe-style ranch, appeared undisturbed with no obvious external damage. However, on entering, officers noted an eerie silence. It was inside the main living quarters where they found Hackman and Arakawa, both unresponsive, along with their dog nearby. The initial examination of the scene did little to answer the pressing question: what happened? According to officials, no visible injuries were present, ruling out any immediate suspicion of violence. The couple was known to be in relatively good health for their age, though Hackman had faced various age-related ailments in recent years. Some speculated whether natural causes played a role, but with both Hackman and his wife passing away around the same time, authorities knew they needed a thorough investigation. As news of Hackman's passing spread, tributes poured in from across the entertainment industry. The actor, who had left Hollywood behind years ago to focus on a quiet life in New Mexico, was suddenly at the center of an investigation filled with more questions than answers. What had really happened inside his home, and was there more to the story than what first met the eye? New details about Gene Hackman's home have emerged, and they change everything. But before we delve into that, let's talk more about his home, shall we? Insights into the Santa Fe residence. Gene Hackman's Santa Fe home was more than just a residence. It was a carefully crafted retreat where he and his wife Betsy Arakawa had spent over 3 decades. Tucked away in the rolling hills of northern New Mexico, the sprawling adobe-style estate blended seamlessly with the landscape. Hackman, a lifelong admirer of Southwestern architecture, had personally overseen much of its design, incorporating Pueblo, colonial, and Spanish Baroque influences. But now, with his passing, the home was no longer a peaceful sanctuary. It had become the center of an unsettling mystery built on a vast 12-acre property. The home featured thick adobe walls, exposed wooden beams, and large windows that provided sweeping views of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. To those who had visited, the house was a masterpiece of rustic elegance. It was a place of solitude, a stark contrast to the fast-paced Hollywood lifestyle Hackman had left behind when he retired from acting in 2004. But in the days leading up to the tragic discovery, something appeared to have changed. Reports indicate that in the weeks before Hackman's death, deliveries to the property had increased. Contractors had been seen coming and going, though it remains unclear what work, if any, was being done. Some speculated that Hackman, who had a passion for renovations, was in the middle of another home improvement project. Others wondered if these visitors had noticed anything unusual during their time on the property. Neighbors described the home as typically quiet, with little activity aside from the occasional landscaper or maintenance worker. But in the days leading up to February 26th, some recalled a noticeable stillness, lights left off at night, mail piling up, and a general absence of movement. Despite its beauty, the home now carries an eerie significance. What had been a private refuge for one of Hollywood's greatest actors was now at the center of a growing investigation. And with no clear answers yet, the question remained, did the home itself hold any clues to what really happened inside? Unsettling findings and speculations. As investigators combed through Gene Hackman's Santa Fe home, they made several discoveries that deepened the mystery surrounding his and Betsy Arakawa's deaths. While initial reports ruled out foul play or forced entry, certain findings inside the residence raised more questions than answers. One of the most notable discoveries was a minor gas leak detected within the home. Though authorities quickly determined that it was not potent enough to be fatal, the presence of the leak prompted concerns about whether prolonged exposure could have played a role in their deaths. Experts suggested that while the levels found were not immediately life-threatening, long-term exposure to even low levels of gas can cause dizziness, confusion, and fatigue, symptoms that could have made it difficult for the couple to seek help if they were already in distress. Beyond the gas leak, the home itself showed signs that something had been amiss for several days. Investigators noted that certain areas of the house appeared undisturbed, while others seemed as if they had been recently used. The couple's kitchen, for instance, contained food items that had been left out, as if they had been preparing a meal before something unexpected happened. Additionally, mail and packages had accumulated outside, indicating that they had not retrieved deliveries for some time. Medical examiners also turned to data from Hackman's pacemaker, which provided a crucial clue. The device recorded its last activity on February 17th, suggesting that Hackman's heart had stopped on that date, 9 days before authorities discovered the bodies. This finding helped establish a more precise timeline, but it also raised further questions. If Hackman had passed on the 17th, when exactly did Arakawa die, and why had no one noticed their absence sooner? Toxicology reports, which are still pending, may provide additional answers. Investigators are testing for any substances or environmental factors that could have contributed to the deaths. Some have speculated that a combination of age-related health issues, stress, and possible exposure to toxins inside the home could have played a role. Others have wondered whether it was simply a tragic case of one partner passing first, followed shortly by the other due to shock or grief, a phenomenon sometimes referred to as a broken heart scenario. With so many unknowns, authorities are continuing to piece together the final days of Hackman and Arakawa. But one thing remains clear: the circumstances surrounding their deaths are far more complex than they initially seemed. Community and industry reactions. News of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's tragic passing sent shockwaves through both their local Santa Fe community and the entertainment industry. While Hackman had spent the last few decades away from the Hollywood spotlight, his impact remained undeniable, and the sudden nature of his death left many with lingering questions. In Santa Fe, where the couple had lived for over 35 years, residents expressed their grief and disbelief. Those who had occasional encounters with Hackman described him as private but kind, often seen enjoying simple pleasures like cycling through town or stopping by local bookstores. You wouldn't have guessed he was a 2-time Oscar winner, one local shop owner recalled. He just blended in, that's the way he liked it. Community members also highlighted Hackman and Arakawa's quiet generosity. While they rarely sought publicity, they were known to support local charities, arts organizations, and environmental causes. They cared about this place, said a Santa Fe resident. They weren't just celebrities who bought a house here. They really made it their home. The idea that something unusual may have contributed to their deaths only deepened the sense of unease in the close-knit town. Meanwhile, Hollywood figures were quick to pay tribute to Hackman's legendary career. At the 2025 Academy Awards, actor Morgan Freeman delivered an emotional speech honoring Hackman's contributions to film. Gene was the kind of actor you couldn't look away from. Every role, every line, he made them all feel real, Freeman said. He left us with performances that will outlive all of us. Fans and fellow actors flooded social media with memories of Hackman's most iconic roles, from Popeye Doyle in The French Connection to Little Bill Daggett in Unforgiven. Some noted how rare it was for an actor to walk away from Hollywood at the height of his career and never look back. He left on his own terms, and I always respected that, wrote one director. Beyond the tributes, discussions also turned to Hackman's health in his final years. Some reports suggested he had become more reclusive, with fewer public sightings in the past year. While this could have simply been due to age, others wondered if underlying health concerns had played a role in the events leading up to his death. With an ongoing investigation into the exact cause, the tributes and speculation continue. But one thing is certain: whether in Santa Fe or Hollywood, Gene Hackman's absence is deeply felt. Ongoing investigations and emerging details as authorities continue their investigation into the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. New details are emerging that may help piece together their final days. While initial reports ruled out foul play, investigators are still awaiting toxicology results and further forensic analysis to determine the exact causes of death. One of the key aspects under scrutiny is the discovery of prescription medications near Arakawa. While the specific types of medications have not been disclosed, sources close to the investigation suggest that they may have been related to common age-related conditions such as heart disease, high blood pressure, or pain management. Detectives are working with medical experts to determine whether any potential interactions, overdoses, or missed doses could have contributed to the couple's passing. Another critical factor is the timeline leading up to February 17th, the last recorded activity from Hackman's pacemaker. Authorities are reviewing phone records, bank transactions, and security footage from local businesses to determine the couple's last known movements. So far, it appears that neither Hackman nor Arakawa made any significant public appearances in the days leading up to their deaths. Friends and neighbors have confirmed that their absence did not initially seem unusual, as the couple value their privacy and often went days without contact. The surviving pets have also become part of the investigation. While one of their dogs was found deceased alongside the couple, other pets on the property were discovered alive and in stable condition. Veterinary examinations are being conducted to determine whether the surviving animals exhibited any signs of illness or exposure to harmful substances. If so, this could provide crucial insight into whether an environmental factor, such as carbon monoxide poisoning, played a role in Hackman and Arakawa's deaths. As the investigation continues, law enforcement remains cautious about drawing conclusions too soon. The pending toxicology results and further forensic examinations will be crucial in determining what really happened inside Gene Hackman's home. And now it's finally time to talk about the most recent development. New details have emerged about Gene Hackman's home, and they change everything. As investigators continue their work, aerial footage of Gene Hackman's Santa Fe estate revealed something that no one had noticed before: a recently disturbed patch of earth near the edge of the property. It was disturbing footage. From ground level, the area wasn't visible, hidden by natural elevation changes and dense vegetation, but from above, it stood out, a large, irregularly shaped section of freshly dug soil in a secluded corner of the land. At first, officials weren't sure what to make of it. No reports mentioned construction or landscaping projects in the months leading up to Hackman's death. There were no signs of farming or gardening, and neighbors had not recalled any heavy machinery coming through. The question became clear: who dug it, when, and for what purpose? This eerie finding took on even more weight when paired with other unsettling details found at the home. The front door had been discovered ajar when authorities arrived, something completely out of character for the couple, who were known to keep their doors locked. Though there was no sign of forced entry, an unlocked door combined with an open backyard gate raised questions. Had someone been coming and going undetected? Theories quickly began swirling about the recently dug-up area. One possibility investigators considered was that Hackman himself had attempted to dig a tunnel or underground shelter in his final days. Could he have been working on something in secret? Some theorized he may have wanted to create a hidden escape route, a storm shelter, or even a concealed storage space for reasons unknown. Another, more disturbing theory suggested that someone else may have dug it. If so, why? Had someone planned to use it for concealment, perhaps a hidden entrance or an underground passage leading somewhere off the property? Some even speculated whether it could have been intended as a hiding place or something worse. Law enforcement is now analyzing the soil for evidence of recent human activity. If this area was dug before Hackman's death, could it hold clues about his final days or the presence of an unknown visitor? While forensic teams work to determine the significance of this unsettling discovery, one thing is clear: this home, once a peaceful retreat, now holds more mysteries than anyone ever expected.